We artists spend a great deal of time and energy defining ourselves before the public eye. We design and craft an identity that we drape around ourselves like a safety blanket. Then, like the protagonist of Oscar Wilde's classic novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, we protect that carefully crafted image to the death, only revealing what we're convinced the world should be allowed to see, all the while hiding away any disfigurements, real or perceived. But trying to control our creative identity is like building a brick wall around our artistic being. And as Peter Gabriel's song, The Tower That Ate People says, the more we are protected, the more we're trapped within. The Renaissance period was defined by people who pursued multiple callings. One merely look at the works of the painter, sculptor, scientist, and engineer named Leonardo da Vinci. As someone who didn't see a division between art and science, Da Vinci pushed the boundaries of everything he was passionate about. He didn't concern himself with being that one thing everyone knew him for. Or look at David Bowie. Not a lot of people know that in college, he not only studied music, he studied graphic design and typesetting, which is, let's face it, not exactly rock and roll. But it was in studying theater and mime that he realized the power of creating alter egos and personas, which actually propelled both his career and the respect of his fellow artists. As an artist, Bowie was defined by being undefinable, even in his music. From his folk and rock and roll inspired early days as Ziggy Stardust, through his Let's Dance pop of the 80s, into industrial music with what I consider to be his most underrated album, Outside, and then topping it off with his jazz-imbued masterwork, Black Star, Bowie clearly was someone with no interest in letting anyone decide who he was and what he was going to do. Similarly, after establishing herself as one of the most successful pop singers on the planet, Lady Gaga has parlayed her solid reputation as a performer into a lauded acting career. Jordan Peele had proven himself an incredibly skilled comedic actor before co-creating the hit sketch comedy series Key and Peele. But always pushing himself to do more, he's now ventured into new creative avenues as a screenwriter and film director, as proven by his critically acclaimed thrillers Get Out, Us, and Nope. But one doesn't have to venture into different forms of art to push boundaries. When one listens to a Rush album from every 5 years of the Canadian band's 4-decade career, it's as if one is listening to a completely new band each time. One can safely say that they were the ones that put the word progressive in the genre progressive rock. But some artists get trapped into building an entire career around a specific concept that may have worked for them at one point in time. If you look at John Wayne, he repeated the same role over and over again. Now, whether this was the product of the early Hollywood studio system or of his own making, ultimately it doesn't make a difference because as often as he tried to do something new, what made him a star also made it nearly impossible for him to be seen as anything beyond the cowboy archetype. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't a judgment call against people who find comfort in one spot, their creative evolution. That's the default state of being human. After all, there's a reason McDonald's is one of the biggest restaurants in history, and it clearly has nothing to do about all the new food items they release. Social media has pushed people ever more into a nearly religious belief that one must establish a brand. It's almost like they hope that others will burn that brand into their own hides like cattle. But as artists, what good does a fixed identity do except lock our feet in cement saying, this is where I am and this is where I must always be? Trying to pinpoint one's creative identity is the most surefire way of limiting it. Every artist draws inspiration from people who came before. But the artists who become legends are the ones that refuse to be pigeonholed into any medium or genre and constantly push themselves to become more than they were at any other time in their lives. The greatest artists throughout history reveled in roaming the creative frontiers, not to take hold of territories, but rather simply for their experience and personal growth. It has been said that everything you've ever dreamed of becoming is one step outside of your comfort zone. In the same sense, everything you could possibly be in life is one step away from who you identify as today. I've never cared for average in anything in my life. I've never wanted to be defined by others because I know that however they see me in the moment, that person has already vanished into history. Identity is the opposite of evolution. Unless you are constantly evolving, you'll never become more than what you are at this very moment. In photography, the subject is often said to have been captured in the moment. Stories tell of native cultures who saw cameras as having the ability to steal people's souls. And perhaps there's a grain of truth in that. What if when a person's picture is taken, the soul of that person at that precise moment of time is in fact captured, never to be released again, while a completely different person is born anew? As artists, we should never be afraid of growth. We should never be afraid of trying new things. We should never be afraid of failure because even if something doesn't turn out the way we expected, we've still grown. We've still expanded who and what we are. Success and our identity in the moment should never be a shackle around our ankles. You can grind it out and become the best caterpillar in the world. You'll still have to leave it all behind if you want to become a butterfly. When anyone tries to define your creative identity by saying, "This is what you are," never be afraid to correct those people by saying, "No, that is who I was, and it is who I will never be again." Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, smash the like button and be sure to click the notification bell so you won't miss any new content. If you enjoyed this video or found that it gave you a new way of looking at yourself, either personally or as an artist, please leave a comment in the comments section below. I learn a great deal from other people's perspectives, and I know that the comments you leave on this video will inspire me with new topics to discuss. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more content or to stay up to date. I look forward to you joining me the next time.